Welcome to Glina Artistic Paint Education. You are not just here to learn paint manufacturing, you are here to build an income, freedom, confidence, business growth, and a better future through paint entrepreneurship. This channel teaches paint manufacturing business, paint chemical production, industrial paint production system, paint factory thinking, paint business growth, paint branding, and of course, paint sales strategy and professional manufacturing system. This is not just paint mixing, this is a modern paint entrepreneurship. And today, I want to answer one of the biggest questions people are afraid to ask. Can you really succeed in the paint manufacturing business? Because if we're honest, most people are not afraid of mixing paint. They are afraid of failure. They are afraid of losing money. They are afraid of being stuck. They are afraid of learning a skill and never making a profit from it. And maybe that's exactly how you feel right now. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you're going to see this business differently. Almost every week, I receive messages like this. Coach, can I really make money in paint manufacturing business? Coach, what if I fail? Coach, I don't have enough capital. Coach, what if nobody buys my paint? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Because many people watching this video are not just curious learners. Some are fathers trying to support their families. Some are mothers looking for additional income. Some are unemployed graduates. Some are struggling entrepreneurship. Some are workers who are tired of surviving. And when they watch paint manufacturing videos, they are not simply asking, can I produce paint? Deep down, they are asking, can I build a better life from this? That's the real question. And that is why many people hesitate. Not because they are lazy, but because they are afraid of wasting their little money they have. Over the years, I have worked with students from different backgrounds. Some started with almost nothing. Some did not know the differences between matte paint and satin paint. Some had never entered a paint factory before. Yes, many of them continued learning, continued improving, continued building, and today some of them are supplying customers. Some are producing paint regularly. Some are creating incomes from skills they once knew nothing about. Some are also improving in their sales and improving in their quality control technology. This wasn't theory, these were real people with real fears, with real challenges. And of course, real results. The biggest mistake beginners make is believing that formula alone creates success. They think if I learn the formula, everything will automatically work. But paint manufacturing is bigger than formula. It is bigger than chemical. It is bigger than bucket. Because paint manufacturing business is also about system, branding, quality control, customer trust, marketing, positioning, business growth. This is not guesswork. Like I usually tell my students, this is a system. This is how professional manufacturers think. Consistency creates trust and trust creates profit. Now, let's answer this question directly. Paint manufacturing, can it be profitable and why? Yes, because paint is connected to construction. Paint is connected to housing. Paint is connected to renovation. Paint is connected to schools and paint is connected to churches. Paint is connected to offices. Paint is connected to mosques. Paint is connected to hotels. Paint is connected to factories. As long as people continue building and maintaining structure, paint will always be needed. So get that, you understand? But here is what many people don't tell beginners. The business becomes profitable when one, your product is consistent. That is, your customers, people are seeing your product regularly going in and out. Two, your quality is reliable. That's to say, when you produce your paint, come rain, come sun, even if the price is whatever may be the case, your paint is reliable. Three, your branding builds trust. That's to say, no much designing, just simple branding that tells your customers what they are expected from your product. And once they see your paint product anywhere, it speaks for yourself. Now, the fourth is your pricing makes sense. Yes, when we talk about your pricing makes sense, it simply means, for instance, you see paint um are different everywhere in the world. Even in South Africa, the price of paint in um, Johannesburg and the price of paint in Pretoria is different. Now, Nigeria, the price of paint, let's say you pick a state, you understand. Let's say in Abuja, the price of paint in Maitama and the price of paint in Otako, or the price of paint in Pape, or the price of paint in Lube are different. Now, Lagos, the price of paint in Ikoyi, the price of paint in um Badagry, the price of paint in Sulere, the price of paint in Ikeja, they're different. That is how it is in Kenya, Tanzania, Cameroon, Rwanda. You understand the price of paint are different. So now your own paint price must make sense. If a contractor is reaching out to you and is telling you that I want this price of paint, you should be able to produce your paint at that price of paint. And that is when you're in business. You understand? And then the next is your system are structured. When we talk about your system as structure, we talk about your formulation process. A lot of people are using the old formulation ways. We're talking about how you can produce a paint that follows the structure. That is where factory thinking begins. And here is where most people get surprised. Many successful manufacturers did not start with millions. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest fear people have, which is capital. Almost every week, someone asks me, Coach Glina, how much do I need to start paint manufacturing business? Coach Glina, can I start paint manufacturing business without millions? Coach Glina, do I need a factory before I start my paint manufacturing business? And the truth surprised many people. The reason is that many successful paint manufacturers did not start with massive factories or income. Many started small. Some started from home, some started from a single room, some started with very basic equipment. The problem is not always capital. The problem is often lack of direction because a person with small capital and proper guidance can move forward, but a person with large capital and no system can lose money quickly. This is why paint manufacturing education is so important because mistakes are expensive and wrong guidance can cost more than limited capital. Another fear many people have is this: what if I learn from the wrong person? And honestly, that is a valid concern because serious people don't just want formula, they want direction, they want mentorship, they want proof, they want confidence, they want someone who understands production, sales, branding, customers, interaction, marketing, business growth. They want someone that has been in the system, not just as a paint manufacturer, but someone that has already operated in buying and selling of paint, manufacturing products. People are tired of empty promises. People are tired of copied formula. People are tired of motivational speech without system. You get? So they want real paint manufacturing education. And I understand that because if you are investing your money and your future, you deserve real guidance. There's a difference between teaching theory and teaching experiences. You get? A person can read about paint, a person can memorize formula, a person can repeat information, but experiences teaches something different that you cannot get elsewhere except that person has been in that particular issues or has been in that business. What works, what fails, what customers complains about, what customers love, how to solve problem, how to build system, how to survive challenges. When I teach paint manufacturing business, I don't only teach formula, and there's a reason. I teach system because system creates confidence and confidence helps people take action. One myth that stops many people in learning paint manufacturing is that they ask themselves or they think that the market is already saturated, the big brands have taken over, the competition is too much, the pricing is difficult for them to fit in the paint production business. But let's think about it. Every day, people build houses, people renovate buildings, people paint schools, people paint churches, people paint offices, people paint um moxes, people paint shops, people paint hotels. And every one of these, or Rather, those projects need paint. The truth is, customers are always looking for reliable quality, fair pricing, availability, good service, and trust. Business is not only about size. Business is about positioning. Business is about visibility. Business is about consistency. Business is about relationship. That is how many small manufacturers continue to grow today. And this is why I love sharing my success story. And of course, I love sharing my student success story as well. Do you know why? Because they remind people that success is possible. Some students started with fear, some started with limited knowledge, some started with limited resources, some started as a ready paint manufacturer, but they were confused. They needed structure to keep them going. Some wanted mentorship. You understand? But they started, and over time, they improved. Today, many are producing paint, selling paint, building brands, supplying to different customers weekly, monthly, daily, creating opportunities for themselves. This is not theory, like I said. These are real people, real journey, real results. Most people think success starts when you learn formula, but success starts when you build system. Production is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you understand production, quality, branding, marketing, sales, customer trust, business growth. That is where paint entrepreneurship becomes powerful. Now, let's talk about money. Can money or rather, can paint manufacturing create income? Yes, it can create income. If you get when you start the business. Now, can it become a business? It's an already a business. Yes, it is a business. Can it become a factory? Yes, it's a factory depending on how you start or how you want to operate, and then you grow gradually. Now, can it change lives? It's definitely going to change your lives by the time you start manufacturing, you start selling your product, and you start making income. You get, but only when you stop guessing. That is when all of this is going to perform itself. That is going to make you money. You get, the manufacturing or the manufacturers who succeed understand something important. A good product without visibility will struggle. A good product without trust will struggle. A good product without system will also struggle, because profit comes from structure, profit comes from consistency, and profit comes from factory thinking. Today, we have students from different locations, different backgrounds, different experiences, but one thing connects them: a desire to build something better. We are building more than just paint. We are building businesses, we are building confidence, and we are building opportunities. We are building a movement of paint entrepreneurs who refuses to stay stuck. Now, if you're serious about building a real paint manufacturing business, if you're serious about learning production system, paint branding, paint sales strategy, and paint business growth, then I invite you to learn more about the program and resources below. The link is going to be in the description. My goal is not to just teach you all the formula. You get, my goal is not simply to teach you formula. My goal is to help manufacturers move from struggling to structure, from confusion to confidence, from guessing to system, because paint manufacturing is bigger than mixing chemical. So, can you really succeed in the paint manufacturing business? Yes, but success does not come from formula alone. It comes from learning, it comes from consistency, it comes from structure, it comes from system, it comes from taking action. You do not need to become perfect overnight. You simply need to start learning, improving, building, and continue moving forward, because many successful manufacturers once had the same fear you had today. Yet remember, started paint manufacturing and is more than the mixing chemical they took. It is a skill that can help you build income, freedom, confidence, and a better future. Learn a skill that can help you start earning from home with low capital. Now, subscribe to Glina Artistic Paint Education, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for